This story begins on an ordinary American morning. John F. Kennedy Airport was crowded as usual. People were rushing. Some were heading to business meetings. Some were flying to see family. Some were just taking another routine flight. This flight was numbered NX-117 from New York to California. A normal domestic flight. Nothing special. At least, that's what everyone thought. The time was exactly 8 a.m. The weather was clear. The sky was perfectly blue. The pilot requested takeoff clearance. Air traffic control approved it. NX-117 rolled down the runway and slowly lifted into the air. No one knew. This flight would become a mystery. The seatbelt sign turned off. Passengers relaxed. Some fell asleep. Some watched movies. Some opened their laptops. Everything felt normal. The flight attendant made an announcement. "Welcome aboard. This will be a smooth 6-hour flight to California." People smiled. The first hour passed normally, so did the second. During the third hour, something changed. A passenger looked out the window. The clouds looked strange. They weren't moving. They looked frozen. He thought it was just his eyes, but then another passenger noticed it, then another. A quiet tension spread through the cabin. People whispered to each other. "Do you see that too? Why does the sky look wrong?" Inside the cockpit, everything seemed fine. Speed was normal. Altitude was normal. Fuel levels were normal. But the radio started crackling. The pilot contacted air traffic control. No response. He tried again. Still nothing. The co-pilot said, "Probably a signal issue." Then the pilot looked at the clock. It had stopped. The second hand wasn't moving. The pilot felt a chill. In the cabin, a child started crying. The mother checked her watch. It had stopped too. An elderly man spoke up. "My watch isn't working either." Slowly, everyone realized. All clocks had stopped. Phones, watches, digital screens, time itself had frozen, but the airplane was still moving. 3 hours passed. At least that's how it felt to the passengers. The pilot made a decision. "We're close to California. Prepare for landing." The plane descended. It touched the runway. Everyone felt relieved, but the real fear was just beginning. The airport was empty. No ground crew. No vehicles. No sound. Moments later, security rushed in. Their faces were pale. One officer shouted, "Where have you been?" The pilot replied, "We just completed a 6-hour flight." The officer whispered, "No, you are 10 hours late." Silence filled the terminal. Passengers thought it was a joke. Then they saw the screens, the date, the time. It was 10 hours ahead. They checked themselves. No one felt tired. No one felt hungry. Their bodies had experienced only 3 hours. Doctors were called. Medical tests were done. The results shocked everyone. Their biological aging was only 3 hours, while the world had aged 10. Scientists asked the question, did the plane enter a time warp? Did it pass through a zone where time behaves differently? The U.S. government classified the case. Passengers were forced to sign NDAs. The media was told it was a technical delay, but one question remained. If time can slow down, can it stop completely? And if that plane ever enters that zone again, what will come back? After landing, passengers were taken to a secure terminal. No cameras, no journalists, only government officials in black suits with serious faces. Each passenger was questioned separately. The questions were quiet, unrecorded. "What did you feel during the flight?" One said. "It felt like time paused." Another said, "It felt like the plane was inside a bubble." A woman said, "My phone battery never dropped." A man said, "I slept and woke up completely refreshed." Scientists were brought in. From the Air Force, from NASA, they focused on one problem. If this was just a delay, why did aging not match? The pilot and co-pilot were isolated. They described the cockpit in detail. The radio went silent. The clock stopped instantly. The black box was analyzed. A large section of data was missing, as if that time never existed. A NASA scientist spoke quietly. "If the plane entered a spacetime anomaly," the room went silent. The official asked, "Explain clearly." The scientist said, "The aircraft entered a time-dilated zone, where time flows slower, like near a black hole, but in Earth's atmosphere. We don't understand everything yet." Passengers were held for 48 hours. No phone calls. No internet. The silence was disturbing. Some passengers noticed something else. Their memories were fading. The middle of the flight felt erased. Doctors explained, the brain is protecting itself. Some experiences are too extreme, but one man remembered everything. His name was Ethan Cole. He said quietly, "We were not alone." The room froze. He explained, "When time stopped, I looked outside. There was something there. Not clouds, not light. It was moving, without time. They called it a hallucination, until satellite data appeared. A small distortion. At the exact location, at the exact time. The government shut the case down. Passengers were paid. Given new identities. Officially, NX-117 never existed. The plane was retired. 3 months later, a military pilot reported something. He felt his jet hit an invisible wall. His clock slowed. The radio crackled. For 1 second, he saw NX-117 still flying, still perfect, outside time. Then it vanished. If NX-117 can still be seen, did it ever really return? Officially, the case was closed. Unofficially, It never was. A retired NASA scientist wrote a diary. His name was Dr. Alan Reeves. He wrote one sentence: "We didn't lose time, we left it." He believed Earth has moving zones, places where time behaves differently. Not holes, but layers. NX-117 crossed a layer of reality. The government feared panic, but truth has consequences. Ethan Cole began having dreams. He was back on the plane. No passengers, only empty seats. Outside the window, endless darkness. Something was watching. One night, he heard a voice: "You left too early." The next day, Ethan disappeared. No struggle, no trace, only a drawing. A plane inside a circle. Scientists understood. NX-117 never fully returned. Something stayed behind, and something came back. Years later, pilots still report anomalies. Frozen clouds, slowing clocks, crackling radios. ATC calls it wind issues. Internally, it has a name: the slow sky zone, a place where time is a visitor and humans are mistakes. If your flight ever feels wrong, if time stops, you are not late. You are somewhere else, and you may return, but never completely.